A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Primetime News coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Police use water cannons and tear gas against unemployed graduates marching towards the presidential secretariat, unheeding police orders. Over 1,000 undeclared containers found at the Sri Lanka ports. Court of Appeal orders to open and inspect the containers. More than 600,000 affected by the extreme heat wave across the country. Critical impact on the northern province. Group of farmers raid the Watercolor DCC meeting demanding compensation for damaged crops.
Starting off with a news item that we received a short while ago. The Cabinet, State and Deputy Ministers who recently resigned from their posts were sworn in before President Maithripala Sirisena at his official residence. Accordingly, Rauf Hakim was sworn in as Minister of City Planning, Water Supply and Higher Education. Rishad Pathiuddin was sworn in as Minister of Industry and Commerce, Resettlement of Protracted Displaced Persons, Cooperative Development and Vocational Training and Skills Development. Amir Ali was sworn in as State Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Rural Economic Affairs. Abdullah Maharouf was sworn in as the Deputy Minister of Ports and Shipping, while Buddhika Patharana, who served as Deputy Minister, was sworn in as the State Minister of Industry and Commerce, Resettlement of Protracted Displaced Persons, Cooperative Development and Vocational Training and Skills Development. However, Ali Zahir Maulana, H.M. Haris and Faisal Qasim did not accept any ministerial portfolios. Sri Lanka police were compelled to use water cannons and tear gas to disperse a protest in Colombo staged by a group of unemployed graduates.
The unemployed graduates marched from the Fort Railway Station in Colombo to the Presidential Secretariat, citing injustice was caused when graduates are provided employment in the public sector. As their attempts to secure a meeting were futile, the protesting unemployed graduates decided to move towards the Presidential Secretariat. Intervening in the process, Sri Lanka police requested time to facilitate a meeting with both sides. Although police resorted to using measures to disperse the protesters, heavy traffic was reported in the area for almost an hour.
They have struck off the names of the graduates who are visually impaired and those who are suffering from hearing impairment in an unjust manner. They have struck off the names of graduates above the age of 35. No other government in history had treated graduates in such an unfair manner. What we have is a Prime Minister who did not pay attention to the issue for 4 long years.
The protesting unemployed graduates attempted to commence a fast this evening opposite the Fort Railway Station. However, that attempt was foiled.
Speaking during a media briefing held at Temple Trees today, UNP parliamentarian Chandimagamage expressed the following views regarding the program to provide employment to graduates.
We have taken steps to provide employment to graduates fairly. First, our Prime Minister decided to appoint about 20,000 graduates as development officers, and some criticized this measure, saying this is a political ploy. But tomorrow, a group of graduates will receive their placements. We have done this before as well. None of the job opportunities provided by this Yahapalana government are political ploys. We plan to provide employment to a total of 16,800 graduates. The next phase of this plan is to award graduates as project officer appointments following their completion of duty as development officers.
Despite strong opposition from the farming community, authorities went ahead with the Monoragala District Development Committee meeting today.
Farmers obstructed access to the Monoragala District Secretariat today, citing they were not awarded with compensation for their cultivations affected by the Sena caterpillar infestation and other relief.
I came here with 200 rupees, and what am I to provide these children with? For breakfast, I fed my child with manioc and rice. We are experiencing such hardship because of the actions of the thieves in government. We are not seeking a throne, we are not seeking vehicles or houses, we are only asking for something which will benefit all. Take a look at this hip, there are blisters because of the hardship in farming.
By that time, the District Development Committee meeting was already underway, and the attempts made by the group to present their issues at the meeting were foiled. They remained opposite the premises of the District Secretariat for almost 3 hours until the meeting was over. At the end of the meeting, Member of Parliament Sumedaji Jayasena visited the location where the protesting farmers were. The Agricultural and Agrarian Insurance Board will commence making payments from next month. There was claim some obtained money even without having any farmland. Over a month ago, we requested police to investigate the matter. We noted it was unjust not to make the second round payments. I promise that too will be looked at. The Satyagraha campaign, organized by a group of farmers opposite the Mahaveli Resident Manager's office in Tambutthegama, entered its 6th day today. The Satyagraha campaign was organized citing compensation be provided to farmlands in the Mahaveli H zone which were affected by water not being released accordingly. At the seasonal meeting, it was decided to release water for the Yala season. Notice was displayed calling for the waterways to be cleaned by May 23rd. We were promised water by May 25th. A week later, we were told water will not be provided to us. We seek compensation to the tune of 50,000 rupees per acre. This is the struggle launched by the farmers. Despite a meeting was called for between the farmers and the Mahaveli resident manager, a proper solution was not reached during the meeting.
On to one of our headline-making stories, the Disaster Management Centre said more than 600,000 people are affected by the drought, which has already battered many areas in the country.
The north of the country is the worst affected by arid weather. Over 100,000 people from Jaffna, Mena, Kilinochchi and Mullaitivu are affected by dry weather in the northern province. Reports suggest many of them are engaged in the struggle simply to obtain clean drinking water. Animals living in the north are also affected by the dry spell. This weather in the Kilinochchi district, within 100 families in the Krishnapuram village, has completely dried up. The farmlands of these families have turned into barren land.
We engaged in cultivations because we believed the weather will contain water. That too is no more.
We can live without food, but how are we to survive without water? We do not have water to even wash our clothes. We were promised pipe-borne water, but that is yet to become a reality.
Dry weather is experienced across many provinces in the country, including the east and northwest.
At the Court of Appeal today, State Counsel Charuk Ekanaka, appearing for the Attorney General, said there are more than 1,000 undeclared freight containers held by the Ports Authority.
The appeal court today ordered the Director General of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority to open all suspected freight containers and investigate if they contain any waste material. The appeal court instructed the government analysts to investigate and submit a report on the freight containers with waste material which were imported to Sri Lanka. Court called for an immediate report on the existence of waste material which is hazardous to the human body and the environment by inspecting the freight containers held by customs and those at the Katunayaka Investment Promotion Zone. The matter was taken up in the presence of Court of Appeal President Yasantha Kodagoda and Justice Arjuna Obesekara. On the 22nd of this month, the Centre for Environmental Justice filed the petition seeking a court order instructing the Central Environmental Authority and the Director General of Customs to send back the freight containers with waste material to the countries they were imported from. The petition will be further examined tomorrow.
Now, what paved the way for freight containers with waste material to enter Sri Lanka?
A gazette carrying the signature of the then Finance Minister introducing a new company named Hub Operation was issued in 2013. The main operations of this business was the re-export of imported product which was subject to a value addition process in a special storage facility. Containers with waste material were imported to Sri Lanka using the respective rules and regulations of this process. According to the Gazette, customs were permitted to inspect the goods imported by this entity. Speaking to News First, the present Director General of Customs, P.S.M. Charles, confirmed customs officers were empowered to inspect goods imported through hub operations. However, according to the order issued to the staff of Sri Lanka Customs on the 7th of July 2014, products imported through hub operation can only be inspected by the Additional Director General of Customs or any officer above that rank. The document containing this order was signed by then Additional Director General of Customs S. Rajendran, who is in retirement. Did customs personnel purposely evade their responsibilities by using this 5-year-old document signed by S. Rajendran, despite claims made that customs can actually inspect the goods imported to the country for re-export purposes? Or were there restrictions imposed on customs personnel by this particular order?
More local news come your way on the other side of this short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back. Welcome back here with News First. President Maithripala Sirisena made the following comments at an event at the Sabaragamu Provincial Council.
The war against drugs launched by me faces success and challenges. Because of the serious nature of this menace, new regulations were introduced and finally I decided to reimpose the capital punishment. The elite in Sri Lanka took to the streets against the decision and the criminals applauded them. The criminals said the president wants to kill them and there are people who are ready to save them. When the elite were calling to abolish capital punishment, I was not alone in the battle against the drug menace because 90% of the population was with me. After a period of 16 years, US President Donald Trump said rapists and pedophiles must be executed in order to bring control. I decided to impose the capital punishment on drug traffickers. Donald Trump decided to impose it on rapists and pedophiles. Harassment on women and girls in the US has reached new heights. India has imposed capital punishment, and so has Singapore. We are attempting to build a country and to take it forward.
Today, programs for 15 new sectors under the Sabaragamuwa Lassana initiative, the brainchild of Sabaragamuwa Province Governor Dhamma Disanayaka, were introduced. Sabaragamuwa Lassanai was introduced to uplift the people's living standards and the economy in the Sabaragamuwa province. The president launched the Kitula Kitula website and the Sip Tatu website and provided financial sponsorships for selected families to build their own houses under the Ape Gedara Lassanai housing project.
Maharu Feroz Shettyarachchi, a director of Blue Mountain arrested for property fraud, was granted bail by the Kaspawa Magistrates Court today. However, as cases are heard at other courts, the suspect was placed in remand custody.
The case over the Blue Mountain property fraud was taken up at the Kaspawa Magistrates Court today. Attorneys representing the aggrieved parties requested for a report on the progress of the relevant police investigations be called for by court. Accordingly, court ordered the Mount Lavinia ASP to present a report in this regard during the next court session. In addition, court permitted to obtain a statement from the Secretariat of Blue Mountain. Defence counsel appearing for the suspect requested their client be granted bail, citing he was in remand for more than 4 months. Court ordered the suspect be released on a cash bail of 100,000 rupees and 2 surety bails of 2.5 million rupees each. In addition, the suspect was ordered to be presented before the Special Investigation Unit in Mount Lavinia on the last Sunday of every month. The case will be taken up again on the 16th of September. What was the government doing until such an organization was established and defrauded by the public of their funds? This is not the first case. This is the 4th case reported. Therefore, the government or the Attorney General's Department or the Central Bank on behalf of the government should intervene in this matter. According to civil law, when financial fraud of more than 1,500 million rupees has taken place, assets and properties can be seized prior to the commencement of legal cases. So then, when a case concludes, the aggrieved party can be compensated through deposits in banks or by auctioning the seized lands. Civil laws in Sri Lanka include these provisions. The government must intervene to seize assets prior to the commencement of legal proceedings. Do not allow the general public to be victimized by mass-scale fraudsters. I am amused by the fact the government has remained silent on this matter.
The people who have gone unheard by authorities now anticipate the arrival of Gamadha as its teams walk the length and breadth of Sri Lanka in search of issues gone unnoticed.
The Gammad, the door-to-door team in Anuradhapura, was welcomed by more than 100 villagers on the banks of the Yahale Gama River. The villagers claim the river, which catered to all needs of the village, is now a barren land similar to a playground. Today, the Gammad team visited Thuruvilla, Madavachia, Natchaduwa, Kale Gama, Natia Gama, Yahale Gama, and Eppavala localities. The Gammad team came across a group of people outside their homes and under the scorching sun in Alamkulam, Batiklo, who claimed they live in fear, unaware when their homes would collapse. The team walked across the villages of Wakare, Navaladi, Muravede, and Kudjang Kalkulam. Today, the Gammad team also came across a group of children who study inside the building, of which the roof is supported by one bamboo trunk. If this roof is not repaired, lives are at risk. The team visited the villages of Valimada, Uvaparanagama and Dimbulana to listen to the issues faced by these people.
Moving on to a tragic story reported from Samanture. 10-month-old twins were found hacked to death at their residence in Samanture. Now, according to the police, the double homicide had taken place this morning at the Imuriam School Road in Nanathavur. Police said the killing is believed to have taken place in the washroom of the house and committed by their own mother. The police added that the mother was admitted to Samanta hospital and previous medical records have shown that she had received treatment for mental illness on previous occasions. Also in local news, the Sit Kalugama Udayagamane in Agunukula Sambantota was vested in the public today by Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa.
The 228th model village constructed under the Samanta Udagamman housing project comprises of 51 housing units. The model village is equipped with infrastructure facilities. The model village was constructed at a cost of 48.9 million rupees. Minister Sajith Premadasa provided housing loans and concessions to the public, while several other programs took place in line with the event. Vest in the power in the people is a famous slogan in every political campaign. Once the government is appointed, those who promise to give people the power embrace the power for themselves. The people are left with no power at all. Vest in the power in the people should not only be limited to a campaign slogan. The rural state concept should be applied in every village. The people of the village should be able to decide their priorities. People living in over 42,000 villages should be able to decide the priorities in their villages. Our duty as full-time servants of the people is to implement the people's decision.
The Neelan Tiruchelvam Memorial Lecture was held at the PMICH in Colombo yesterday.
Dr. Neelan Tiruchelvam was a Sri Lankan Tamil lawyer, academic, politician and a member of the parliament. He held several distinguished academic positions in Sri Lanka and in the USA. Dr. Neelan Tiruchelvam was assassinated on the 29th of July 1999, receiving condemnation from around the world. The event was organized by the Neelam Tiruchelvam Trust and was delivered by Roby Damelin, a spokesperson of the Parent Circle Families Forum, which brings together bereaved family members of Palestinians and Israelis who have died in the decades-long conflict.
The opening ceremony of Watercolor Exhibition of renowned Chinese artist Master Rongramo Wang took place in Colombo today.
The exhibition was organized by the Sri Lanka China Trade and Investment Council in collaboration with the Department of Visual and Performing Arts. Artist Rongramo Wang visited the country with 20 collectible paintings commissioned especially for Sri Lanka. Master Wang's paintings depict nature, landscapes and beautiful calligraphy in traditional Chinese brushwork. He is also a famous ceramic artist with unique glazing techniques. The exhibition will continue until the 31st of this month.
The following views were expressed by Mayor of the Mottola Municipal Council, Daljit Aluvihare.
If the UNP puts forward the wrong leader this time, the UNP will suffer a major defeat and they will never be able to rise again. There are many good and untainted leaders within the UNP. We cannot maintain a dictatorship. The new faces must be given an opportunity to come forward. After 1994, the United National Party could not elect a president on its own. I wish to pose that question to Ranil Wickremesinghe. I am not afraid, and if I am asked to leave, I would do so. I love the party. What did the government of good governance do? The media claims all resources in the country are being sold off. We are aware of some things. Investigations are underway on some matters. All are aware there are flaws with the President, the Prime Minister and the government. If they cannot rectify these flaws, no matter what political party, be it the Rajapaksa or anyone else, they will not be able to secure a win at the presidential election. The qualification to win the presidential election this time is to be people-friendly. Sajith Premadasa is one who can work. There may be others as well in other parties. They too need to be given an opportunity. What is happening is a political party is deciding that a certain person is the presidential election candidate and be forced to follow that person. I will not do so. I will support a leader who loves the country, who loves the people, who understands the pulse of the people, and who can speak to at any given time, no matter which political party that person belongs to. It's unfortunate that I, as a member of the UNP, cannot even communicate with them. Even my chairman or secretary failed to do so. Even if I try to contact them through the phone, their security personnel answer the calls. However, if we meet on the road, they say hi and greet us loudly. These are of no use. When we call them, it is to resolve some issues or crisis. If they cannot solve these issues, why on earth did they join politics? We do not want such leaders.
එහෙම නායකයෝ අපිට එපා.
UNP MP Chandima Gamage made the following comments at a media briefing in Temple Trees.
Four names have been put forward. We will select the suitable candidate after considering the candidate put forward by the opposition camps. The Prime Minister, Minister Sajid Premadasa, Karu Jayasuriya and the name of Minister Kiriyalla was proposed. On the 11th of July, Mahinda Rajapaksa said a jockey will be put into this ring, but we have not seen anything like that happen. There are around 2 who would cross over from Anuradhapura. We hope they would come here. There is a minister from Anuradhapura who worked with me. We have spoken of working together. Even today, the SLFP has blue flags around their residences. He is now a normal MP and I will not mention his name. An alliance would be formed at the elections.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Chairman Professor G.L. Piris today claimed there is yet another attempt to form a national government.
Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla has presented a proposal which was included into the Parliament agenda to be taken up on the 31st of July. It calls for the formation of a national government to increase the number of ministers to 48, deputy ministers to 45, and this is completely legal. Article 46(4) is included into the Constitution of Sri Lanka from the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. It clearly noted the composition of cabinet is limited and the maximum is 30. The only time the restriction does not apply is when a political party with the largest number of seats form an alliance with all parties to form a national government. No new party will join with the government. They are trying to pick MPs from other parties. They are trying to use the name of the National Democratic Front to form the national government and increase numbers.
Former chairman of the Delimitation Review Committee Ashok Piris, speaking in Watercolor, made the following comments.
The government's intention was to delay the elections. We were pressurized not to hand over this report. Faiza Mustafa, convening a media briefing, said an extension of 2 months was given. We never requested for another 2 months. He himself said this. Pafrel filed a case at the Supreme Court demanding this report be handed over immediately for the elections to be held. A media briefing was convened and the minister was present as well. We handed over the report to the minister, which means elections should be held the following week. The following week, I was removed from my position. The minister was under the impression state employees do everything they are instructed to do. We proved our group was different. Basil Rajapaksa then summoned me. He said he was very happy. I replied stating, though you are happy, I lost my job. Basil Rajapaksa said he will look after the matter. Mahinda Rajapaksa then called me. He said he has a parliamentary secretary named Kumarasiru Hettige. I was asked to go meet him. I told him there was no point in meeting him. For 71 years we tried to do this. 2 cars were imported for the Prime Minister at a cost of 400 million rupees. He then imported a bulletproof vehicle for the opposition leader at a cost of 300 million rupees. If the Prime Minister was using his personal wealth to purchase these vehicles, we have no issue. However, these are the funds of the general public.
The second house, constructed within 120 days to coincide with the 25th anniversary of Sirasa FM, was presented to the southern province today.
The recipient of the second house was W.L.A. Shiromi from Thavalagama Gaul, and the presentation was made by Nedra Veerasinghe, Group Director, Electronic Media Business of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited. Deputy General Manager of the National Housing Development Authority, GASP Arya Wangsa, was among others present. It is a dream of any person to have their own home and live in freedom. Today, the dream of this family became a reality. For many years, we were committed to serve the people. For 25 long years, the Sirasa Media Network won the trust of the people as the people's channel. I believe that trust is the greatest victory we have achieved.
Moving on to sports news, it has come to light the final installment to be paid to Sri Lanka for the broadcast rights of the South Africa tour was transferred to an American account. This was revealed in a statement made by the CID before the courts.
We have been continuously reporting on the broadcasting rights debacle of Sri Lanka cricket. We reported on the reply sent by the Sony Pictures Networks India Private Limited to a letter sent by the Secretary of SLC, Mohan De Silva, on the 4th of this month. Sony Pictures Networks India Private Limited notified the final installment for the broadcasting rights of the South Africa tour was already settled. It was revealed to us $187,084, which should be received by Sri Lanka for the broadcast rights of the South Africa tour, has been deposited by the Deutsche Bank to the BBVA Compass Banking Company of the United States on the 2nd of August 2018. This was revealed following the statement given by the legal officer of the SLC before the CID. The Deutsche Bank has inquired BBVA Compass Banking Company about this since the 8th of August of 2018 and on numerous other occasions. In reply to those inquiries, the BBVA Compass Banking Company has notified Sony Pictures Networks India Private Limited on the 18th of November 2018 that this money, which was deposited to the account bearing number 6761603874, was withdrawn on the 2nd of August in 2018 and that account has been closed. A letter has been sent by Deutsche Bank to Sony Pictures Networks India Private Limited informing this matter. The same letter has been sent to Sri Lanka Cricket as well. According to the statement given by the legal officer of the SLC, the copies of the email sent by Deutsche Bank was handed over for investigations. Against such a backdrop, on the 3rd of May 2019, in a letter addressed to Sony Pictures Network India, Sri Lanka Cricket informed the latter that the final installment of the South African tour of $187,084 is yet to be received. On the 10th of May 2019, in their response, Sony Pictures Network India claims the respective fee had already been settled. Accordingly, when one analyzes the statement made by the legal officer of Sri Lanka Cricket, concerns can be raised on what basis this letter was sent to Sony Pictures Network India 6 months later. Against a backdrop where Sony Pictures Network India had explained in detail regarding the respective financial payment, what was the purpose of Sri Lanka Cricket submitting a letter of such nature to the Indian company? Newsfirst previously revealed information provided by the Secretary of Sri Lanka to the Sports Ministry and Parliament regarding broadcasting rights, which was contradicting. Therefore, who will be held responsible for the actions of those in Sri Lanka Cricket?
Well, that's a look at primetime news for tonight. And coming up next is Face the Nation, where we will discuss the current issues in the country in lieu of the imported garbage containers currently placed at the Katunayaka Free Trade Zone and the Colombo port. That's a look at primetime news. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.